Okay, Jeremiah, so we're now going to assess your abdominal area. And you have an empty bladder, and this is the position I would want you in. And if at any time if you feel any discomfort or pain, you let me know, and I'll always be looking at your face for grimacing, okay? Okay, so I'm first going to just inspect the skin. I'm going to look for peristalsis, and I'm going to look for pulsations, and I'm going to look for symmetry, and everything looks good and flat, and the umbilicus looks good and flat, and I don't see in the aortic and the artery areas or any pulsations or peristalsis or any large organs. And again, the umbilicus I'm focused on. I don't see any bulging or breakdown of skin, so all that looks good. So I would then move on, and I would also take all 4 quadrants. Okay, now listen to, with my diaphragm, I'm listening for vowel sounds. Okay, and of course I would spend more time listening to each quadrant, and your quadrants all sound active, so that's great. Okay, and then I would listen for bruits in your arteries. So this time I'm going to listen with my bell. And I'm going to listen to above the umbilicus, you have your aortic artery, and then on both sides you're going to have the renal, and then the iliac and the femoral arteries. So I'm just going to stick to one side here and listen for bruits with my bell. And then down here in the groin area, I would listen to the femoral. Okay, and I don't hear any bruits, so fabulous. Okay, so now I'm just going to percuss all 4 quadrants. Let me just see where there's your belly button, so it's a little bit. Okay, great, and your tympani throughout, so that's what we're listening for. I'm just going to percuss out your liver, and I'm going to start at the midclavicular line, and just about, below the nipple, and I'm listening for dullness. About right there. Okay, and then I'm going to find the umbilicus, and again the midclavicular line, and go up, and listen for dullness. Okay, about right there. Okay, so now I'll take my ruler, and we have about 8 centimeters. So that's good, Jeremiah. So your liver does not appear to be enlarged through percussion. So now I'm just going to, if you could just kind of go slightly towards me, I'm going to just on the anterior axillary line. Go ahead, you can put your arm down. It's okay. Okay, I'm just going to percuss down. Okay. Actually, go ahead and raise it up so we can see. Okay. So here we go. It's gonna, and again, I'm listening for dullness. Okay. So Jeremiah, about the 6th through the 10th rib here, I heard dullness, and that's where your spleen should be. So it does not appear to be enlarged. So great. Okay, so now we're just going to palpate lightly, and again, if you feel any tenderness, you let me know. Okay, any tenderness? Okay, and that's just light palpation. I'm going to go a little bit deeper. And again, I don't feel any masses anywhere. Okay, it feels good, so no tenderness, so great. So everything seems to be fine through palpation. Now I'm just going to palpate your liver, so can you take a deep breath in? Hold it good, and then let it out. Okay, and I do not feel your liver, so it does not feel enlarged. And then, Jeremiah, could you just take a deep breath in? Okay, and I'm feeling for your spleen, and let it out. And I do not feel your spleen, so that feels good. Okay, Jeremiah, so the last thing I would want you to do is go ahead and do a crunch. Okay, great, and good strong stomach muscles. Okay. And then I would just palpate the inguinal lymph nodes and check for enlargements or tenderness, and hopefully I wouldn't find any, and then listen to the femoral artery for bruits. Excuse me, I would palpate the femoral artery for strength, and hopefully it would be a +2. So, okay, Jeremiah, thank you. We're going to move on. Okay, Jeremiah, so we're now going to focus on your lower extremity. And of course, as always, I'm going to start with the skin and look at the skin. And it looks symmetric. I don't see any, the venous pattern, I don't see any varicose veins or any problems with your veins. And I don't see any swelling. And I'm palpating now, and they feel warm, and the size is the same. And so all that looks symmetric, and I don't see any problems with that. Okay, so let's see here. Let me just make sure size. And yeah, the size, they're both the same size. Okay, so now I'm just going to palpate. I'm just going to okay, go ahead and bend this knee here. Okay, now I'm just going to palpate your pulses, your popliteal pulse. Okay, I'm going to get in deep here on this one, but I do feel a +2 on that one, so that's good. And then I'm going to palpate your anterior tibial pulse. I'm just going to kind of lift up so the camera can pick it up. So right here. Okay, so right now. Okay, and that's a +2. And then your dorsal pedal pulse is right here. I'll come over here so the camera can see. Okay, and I'm going to palpate that. Go ahead and just right there, and that's a +2, so that's good. Okay, so now I'm going to just start down here and look at the toes, and as always, looking at the skin. And the skin all looks intact. I don't see any problems with that. And I'm looking at the nail bed here on the toe, and that looks good. And it's a nice pink bed, and I don't see any problems with the nail. And I'm just going to palpate the toes. And I don't feel, if you feel any tenderness, you let me know, okay?
Okay.
And I don't feel any nodules, any problems, and it feels nice and warm. And I'm palpating down here on the foot and the ankle and the Achilles tendon, and again, nice and warm. And the Achilles tendon doesn't feel too tight or too loose. And go ahead and just lay flat. Let me feel. Okay, so any tenderness there?
No.
No. Okay, great. Okay, so all that looks good and it feels good. And so now we're just going to test his range of motion. And so Jeremiah, can you flex your foot and extend it? Okay, and can you do inversion and eversion, so in and out? Okay, great. And now can you push down on my hand? Okay, and push up. Okay, and side to side. Okay, and this other side. Great. Okay, so you have full range of motion in your ankle, and you have +5 strength, so fabulous. Okay, now we're just going to come up here. I'm going to just palpate the knee. Any tenderness?
No.
Okay, and I don't feel any nodules or any problems here. Okay, so any masses, and that feels intact and strong. Okay, doesn't feel too loose. So Jeremiah, now I just want to check your range of motion. Okay, so let's go ahead and bend it here, and could you flex it and extend it? Okay, great. And now against my resistance. So I try, okay, and then down. Okay, so you have full range of motion in your knee, and you have +5 strength. And then I come up here to the hip, and I would palpate it and check for tenderness and for any nodules, and I would check to see how intact it was. And then, of course, I would also be looking at the skin, and then I would also check the range of motion. So, Jeremiah, can you go all the way up and come all the way down? Okay, great. And can you come to the side? So, yeah, adduction. Okay, abduction, adduction, great. And then can you do rotation? Yes, okay, and then out. Okay, great. So you have full range of motion in your hips, so fabulous. And now we're just going to check the strength. So could you raise your leg up? Okay, and down. Okay, to the side. Okay, and right here. Okay. All right, great. Okay, so Jeremiah, you have full range of motion in your hip, and you have +5 strength in your hip. So all this looks good. And Jeremiah, could you take your heel and start here at your knee and go all the way down to your toe? Okay, great. So your coordination was nice and smooth and fluid, and that was great. Okay, so let me just take a look here, and I think we are good. Okay, so I'll go ahead and stop, and I'll get you sitting up, okay? Okay, Jeremiah, so let me just see your hand here. Okay, so I'm going to look at your hand real closely at the skin. I'm also looking here at your wrist, and the skin looks all nice and intact. I don't see any redness. I don't see any bogginess. And I don't see any swelling or deformities, so that all looks good. And looking at both sides here, and I'm also going to focus in on your nails. Your nails look look good. The nice pink nail bed and instant capillary return within a second, so great. And while I'm thinking about it, I'm also going to go down here to the toe and check the capillary return there. Yes, and that's also instant. I had forgotten to do that, so fabulous. Okay, so now, I'll go look at your nail here for clubbing, and I don't see any. It looks like it's 160 degrees, and could you just make a diamond for me? Okay, great. So you have your diamond, okay? So 160 degree nail bed, so no clubbing. And then, okay, and again, no tenderness when I palpate.
No.
And no deformities. I don't feel any nodules, and everything feels nice and intact, okay? And then, Jeremiah, let's go ahead and focus in on your range of motion on your fingers. So can you go like this? Okay, good. And can you go in and out with your fingers and with your thumbs? Okay, great. Okay, so you have full range of motion in your fingers. And now can you squeeze them, my fingers? Okay, good. And can you make the okay sign? And then let me see if I can, and give me some resistance, yeah. Okay, good. So you have +5 strength in your fingers. So full range of motion, +5 in your fingers, okay. And then, Jeremiah, I just want to, let's go ahead and do the range of motion with your hands. So can you like that and like this and then hyperextend? Great. Okay, and can you go like this? Okay, great. Okay, so then can you go against my resistance? Okay, and then down. Okay, all right, and that's good. Okay, so you have +5 strength, and you have full range of motion in your wrist. And now we just look at your carpal tunnel, and I'll stick to this hand closer to the camera there. And Jeremiah, tell me if you feel any tingling, okay? Tingling or numbness?
No.
No, okay. All right, and then the other sign is, okay, to test for carpal tunnel problems is you're going to take your hands, you're going to go like this and push them together for 60 seconds, okay? And then when you release, if you have tingling and numbness, you know, in those areas, then you might have a problem with your carpal tunnel, okay? So, let's see here. Okay, so that's the Tinel sign and then the Fehling sign. Those are the two that we would do to test for carpal tunnel. Okay, so now I'm just going to go to your elbow and palpate it. Okay, so I'm looking here, and your elbow looks good and intact, and the skin all looks wonderful. I don't see any bogginess, and it feels intact. Any tenderness there?
No.
No nodules? Okay, great. Okay, so Jeremiah, can you flex your arm and extend it? Okay, great. And pronation, subnation and pronation? Okay, great. So you have full range of motion in your elbow. And can you push up? Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and can you push up? Yeah. Okay, and then down. Okay, great, Jeremiah. So you have +5 strength in your elbow. Okay, and Jeremiah, just because I'm not 100% sure if I checked your pulses earlier, let me just go ahead and just check. Okay, you have +2 strength there, and then we just check here. Okay, and your radial pulse is also +2. So great. I just want to make sure. I'm not sure if I remember that one. Okay, so I believe that is it. Let me just look. Okay, and we'll go ahead and just stop here for just 1 second.